Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be going through algebraic fractions. We're going to begin with the easy level first and then move on to the advanced level. So, solving algebraic fractions is pretty much similar to solving like fractions with just numbers. But the only difference is that instead of having just numbers, you have variables as well, either in the numerator or denominator. For those who still struggle with fractions, I'm just going to give you a brief review about fractions. 1 over 2 is a fraction where 1 represents the numerator and 2 represents the denominator. So whatever number is at the top of the line is the numerator and the one at the bottom will be the denominator. And let's say if the numerator is less than the numerator is less than the denominator, that represents a proper fraction. If the denominator is less than the numerator, that is an improper fraction. So for example, this is your proper fraction. Improper fraction would be 7 over 5. So your denominator is smaller than the numerator. Lastly, if you have, for example, a number which is, for example, 2 whole number 1 over 3. This is a mixed fraction. Why is it a mixed fraction? Because you have a whole number and you have a fraction. So keeping these concepts in mind, if you look at first question, it says write 1 over y minus 2 over x as a single fraction in its lowest terms. So we need to focus on these words. It has to be a single fraction. Right now we have two fractions. And the single fraction has to be in its lowest terms. So what we're going to do is we're going to combine the two fractions. Now, whenever you have fractions with different denominators, you have to make the denominators equal. So the first fraction has a denominator of y, and the second fraction has a denominator of x. In order for these two denominators to be equal, what we can do is we can multiply the first fraction with x. Now the x will be multiplied to both the numerator and denominator. Similarly, in the second fraction, we can multiply the numerator and denominator with y. So now that we have multiplied the first with x and the second with y, the new fraction becomes x over xy minus 2y over xy. Keep in mind that xy is the same as yx. So if you write x first or y first, it doesn't really make a difference because both of the terms are being multiplied together. So the final result will always be the same. So since we have made the denominators equal for both the fractions, what we can now do is we can combine the fractions. So once the denominators are equal, we can rewrite the two fractions as a single fraction and subtract the numerators. So x minus 2y over xy is our single fraction. And since there's nothing in common in the numerator and denominator, so we can't further simplify. So this is the answer in its lowest term. Part B says write x squared plus x over 3x plus 3 in its lowest terms. what we're going to do is we're going to first identify whether there's anything common in the numerator and denominator. So this is basically linked to factorization, which we've done previously. And x squared plus x over 3x plus 3. So if you look at the numerator, x squared and x are the two terms being added. And if you notice, both of them have x in common. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take x common. And in the brackets, I'm going to be left with x plus 1. Similarly, in the denominator, we have 3x plus 3. So we have 3 in common. So I'm going to take 3 common. And in the brackets, we're going to left with x plus 1 as well. As you can see, there's an x plus 1 in the numerator and there's an x plus 1 in the denominator, which is being multiplied to x in 3. So what we can do is we can cancel out the x plus 1s. Let me use the color. And that gives us x over 3. So this is your answer in the lowest terms. Since x and 3, like, they don't have anything in common, so we can't further factorize it. If you guys are struggling with the factorization, I'm going to leave the link of factorization in the description. And you can refer to that in order to understand how to factorize or like simplify a fraction or any equation. If you look at question number 2, it says, write as a single fraction its simplest form. Same thing. We're going to first make the denominators equal. So to make the denominators equal, I'm going to multiply the first fraction by 2, because that's the denominator of the second fraction. And I'm going to multiply the second fraction by 3, because that's the denominator of the first fraction. Once you multiply them with the written numbers, x over 3 becomes 2x over 6. X minus 1 over 2 becomes 3 times x minus 1 over 6. Now that the denominators are equal, we can rewrite the fraction as a single fraction and combine the numerators. We can expand the brackets, 3 times x minus 1, which gives us 3x minus 3. Since 2x and 3x are like terms, you can combine the like terms and rewrite the numerator as 5x minus 3, and 6 remains as it is. Since nothing can be simplified because like the numerator is completely different from the denominator, there's no common term, so 5x minus 3 over 6 is your final answer. If you have any questions or like confusions about it, let me know in the comments below.